out of apartment 5B.
You're now tuned into the Apartment 5B podcast, where we chop it up about hip-hop, R&B, sports, love and life. Hosted by Kill.
What's good? You are tuned to Apartment 5B podcast hosted by your man Kill. I got my squad in effect with me as always. Little sister Porsche, what's good, miss?
All is well, Kill. Good to be here.
Right, no doubt. Vern out the ATL. What's good, bro?
What up? Glad to be here with my people.
All right. Vague and DJ Breck One out here looking like they got a new EP out in these streets, dressed alike. So what's going on, fellas?
Chilling, man.
In the middle. It's critical.
There you go.
Right, no doubt. We got my brother Zoe. What's going on, baby? Back in effect.
What up, though? I came prepared with snacks this time. I'm good.
Oh, man. Okay.
You know,
sir.
Apartment 5B, we be here for a minute. You know what I mean? So you good this time.
I got 2 things of water. I got snacks. I'm good this week.
All right. You prepared now? You prepared?
Yes, sir.
You already know me. Let's jump right into it, man. This week the topic is about, if you're ever on Twitter, you know, you see all the time, Illmatic is the hip hop Bible. Illmatic is the hip hop Bible. Illmatic is the hip hop Bible. So the other day, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, I posted Criminal Minded, and I was about to tweet, "This is my hip hop Bible," but then it kind of hit me. Can one album really be the hip hop Bible? And I don't think so. So started doing some research, you know what I mean? And the actual Bible has 66 books. So I started thinking, if we had to pick 25 albums from the 80s, from the 90s, and then 16 albums from 2000 to 2023, what would those albums be to actually make up the hip hop Bible? Almost on some old, you know what I mean? If the word like Noah's Ark, like if the world was about to end and humanity was over and we wanted to, you know, throw this in a time capsule for the next generation to be able to say, okay, this is hip hop, what would those 66 albums be? So that's what we're chopping it up. And this, of course, is going to be a series. So tonight we're just looking at albums or songs that came out from 1980 to 1985. Some teeter on the 79-ish side of things. And one of the great discussions I want to get into is that prior to 1984, 85, not a lot of people had album deals, you know, because hip hop was relatively new. So labels were giving you a 12-inch deal. So we'll give you a 12-inch. It does well. We'll give you another 12. It does well. So some people had 4 12-inch deals before they even got the album deal. You know, this is not the 90s where you could just go up to Def Jam and just get a whole album deal. So that's another thing I'm gonna love about this this series, is that it's gonna be good teachable moments and everything like that. So a lot of things during this time from 80 to 85 are gonna be songs, 12 inches, things like that. I'm going to set us off tonight with one of my favorite hip hop songs ever. This has to be in the hip hop Bible for me. It is Tila Rock's "It's Yours." You know, I want to say, and don't hold me, I'm 49. My brain ain't the same. I want to say this was the first release on Def Jam. If it wasn't the first, it was one of the first. I remember seeing a 12-inch, seeing the Technique 1200 tone arm, and just being like, that's an ill logo. And I mean, Tila Rock's "Is Yours" is just incredible. You know, and it's one of those joints that, if I'm not mistaken, his album didn't come out till 86, which was a little bit past Tila Rock's height of his era. You know what I mean? So the album wasn't well received, but "It's Yours" was huge. And one of my old heads had to school me. I'm 49. He's probably 55. And he was saying like, yo, you know, you really have to respect the 12-inch for what it was at that time. You know what I mean? Because it really was the equivalent of an album. And this time period we're talking about, the 12-inch was almost just as equal to a full-length album as it would be in the late 80s or the early 90s, because that it's yours probably lived for 2-3 years. Like a 12-inch could hold you down for a good 6-7 months out here in these streets. And we're going to talk about the number of cuts on albums and the number of albums that came out at these times for people to understand. It's not like, you know, you get on every Friday and there's probably at least 20 new albums, EPs being released out here. This is not that Steez in the 80s. And you know what I mean? You may find, like I want to say, and we're going to go into it, like in 1980, and again, I'm only 6 at the time, so I'm having to do some Wikipedia research, and Wikipedia could be wrong. They're saying there's only 3 hip-hop albums released in 1980. Like, that's amazing. And only 3 albums in the whole entire year, but you got to remember, hip-hop is brand new, labels don't know what to do with it, and all those things. So that's one of mine. Porsche, what is one of your songs, and why is it something that you feel like it has to be in the hip-hop body?
I got That's the Joint by Funky 4 plus One More. And the reason I have that one is because, again, before my time, obviously, I'm in like the middle of Canada. Like I don't have access to the Funky 4 plus One More. Like I stumbled upon it later, obviously, but just thinking back, it was, again, if I'm not mistaken, the first hip hop group that had a mixed gender. So there was actually a female MC part of the crew. And they actually were also the first televised on Saturday Night Live back in 81. So just what they accomplished as a crew, I feel like is super important to the foundation of the culture of hip hop as we know it. And the song is just so fun. It's a very, very fun song. So that's the one I chose. And I think really can't really go wrong if you say any other track, but that's one I chose. So.
No doubt. One of my favorite things about that is being from Philly, I used to always try to switch it and say, they were saying that's the joint. Yeah, I mean, joint is a very New York word, but the Philly, I mean, it's like, that's the joint. Like, you know what I mean? So another dope pick with Funky 4 plus One More. Zoe, which one that you got for us, good brother?
I got the obvious one. This is kind of the obvious pick between 80 and 85, and that's The Message by Grandmaster Flash, Furious 5. I mean, when you talk about game changers, like this was the one where, you know, it was like kind of like before The Message, after The Message, right. Kind of like that with well, I ain't gonna say it because I know somebody else gonna say it, but I think 82 had 2 true game changers. It was The Message, and I'm sure y'all named the other one. But I mean, you know, before that, it was disco rap. It was, you know, folks rhyming over you know, R&B covers basically. Right. You know, they had the Orange Crush band that was, you know, playing with, you know, Larry Smith on bass and you know, very musical. But I mean, you know, it was a palette thing. It was like you coming out of the disco era, and this is what everybody is used to hearing. And then here comes The Message, and it's straight up beatbox, straight up beat machine, the Oberheim DMX, and you know, we still got the instrumentation with the synths, but the synths are hitting hard. Like it's a hard patch that they're using, and it's still musical. And then, you know, what they're talking about is not what they were ever talking about at the parties or at the block parties or at the park jams. So, you know, it was a true game changer. You know, without The Message, you don't get It's Like That. You don't get Hard Times and countless other, you know, joints that were trying to be The Message. They even did a Message 2, which I remember used to get play on Detroit radio, but The Message was the one. It had the video and everything, and it basically came out of the I think it was the New York Transit strike of 1980. So, you know, very important. This is a straight up landmark in hip hop, and this it definitely needs its own book in the hip hop Bible.
I agree with you on that. Then, I mean, I'm sure, I can't assume, but that's on my list. So if you want, we can kind of go around and just kind of touch on The Message if it's on your list. I know for me, I'll never forget, it was a 12-inch that my pop brought, which kind of, you know, was dope to me because it was like my pop didn't like hip hop. You know what I mean? Not that he disliked it, but, you know, he was buying Luther and Freddie and, you know, R&B at that time. So for him to come home with The Message, it was just like, oh, okay, like, this is dope. I love the cover. Like Zoe said, the video, and I love what he said about pre and post the message. I say the same thing with Straight Outta Compton. I feel like we have hip hop pre Straight Outta Compton and then post Straight Outta Compton. So there's definitely times and places in the hip hop where you can kind of see the pre and the post and the effect of it and everything like that. And the message was it. And I mean, the video too, like again, I'm still a shorty, so I can't say it was the first hip hop video, but it was one of the first hip hop videos that I remember seeing. And I even like the whole dialogue at the end when the cops pull him over and, you know, the whole Grandmaster Flash, what is that, a gang? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, this is fuck the police before fuck the police. You know what I mean? So definitely like that. P, was the message on yours?
Yes, it was. And I think that just because of the content, like the reason why I would put that in, of course, addition to what Zoe said, is that it's just so like foundational for the content of what would become, like, again, subject matter that rappers would go to, right? Like things that were happening around, things that you know, people were dealing with at the time, and it was, I guess, kind of labeled as socially conscious, and I think that's one of the first, so if not the first, so critical to the beginnings of hip-hop and for the progression of the culture.
All right, Vern, what about it? Was it on yours too?
Yeah, it's on my list, and I did mine chronologically. Yeah, definitely, the message was a very, very pivotal point in the genesis of hip-hop, you know, going mainstream. So yeah, it was on there.
All right, what about you, Vay?
Yeah, of course. For a lot of the reasons Portia mentioned, specifically conscious hip hop. Like Zoe said, you know, that early hip hop was really party driven, you know, about rapping over breakbeats, in a lot of cases disco, break beats, and the message was just something different, you know. It was reality rap before it was a thing, you know. And you could see it visually in the video, you know, them rapping in the neighborhood. And for me personally, that's probably the first, like, I mean, it's probably not true, but it's one of the first, like, hip hop album covers I like seen at, you know, at a very early age, man. Like, what was that, 3 or 4, something like that?
Right.
So, yeah, man, it was just memorable, like looking at the cover and later on seeing the video and then the beat and Melly Mel's lyrics and the impact of that. So yeah, that's absolutely one of those records that would be a part of the Bible.
Right. And it's funny that you tapped on the cover, because again, I'm not 100% sure, but prior to and even post that cover, a lot of the 12 inches we got were just the open-ended 12 inches where you know, you just had the circle cut in the middle. And I remember being a shorty and being able to know the label logos, because that was namely what you saw with Sugar Hill Records. You kind of just saw the logo. Now, a lot of times, exactly, thank you, Rack. Right. You had joints like that. You didn't actually have a picture of the group. You didn't know what the group looked like at the time. You know, so that's a great point too about the album cover. Rack, what about you with the message? Was that on yours?
Yeah, it's on my list. I mean, I'm if me and Vig ain't the same age, I'm right behind him. So, you know, I heard it a little bit later, but crazy story, man. Rest in peace, Cowboy, man. I know his daughter. We used to work together. Shout out Shakima, man. I had no clue that was her father. And then one day I was DJing a party and they pulled up. She's like, "Yeah, you know my pops, right?" I'm like, "No." She's like, "My father is Cowboy," and I was like, "Hold on, Cowboy?
That's crazy."
Yeah. And my mother came up and was like, "Yeah, that's her father." I was like, "Holy shit!" So yeah, rest in peace, Cowboy. Shout out to Grandmaster and the Fierce Father.
All right, no doubt. JR, the R&B guru, youngest in charge.
What's up, y'all? What's up, fam?
What up?
What up, Flux?
Oh, so you becoming a man? Okay.
I'm back. I'm back with snacks, brother.
He got snacks. You see, we get down for some hours up here, so he came back with some snacks this morning. Yeah, we ain't catching them slipping no more. And like Rick was saying, like this was a Def Jam 12, and I mean I love this because this is actually a Def Soul joint from the 2000s, and this was the tone arm that I was talking about from the Tila Rock, and it was just a burgundy cover. So a lot of old hip hop 12 inches was just this. We didn't actually get pictures up there or anything like that. Right. What do you have up for your first joint, brother?
I would be remiss if it wasn't something that sparked the culture from a DJ standpoint. I'm going Herbie Hancock, Rocket.
Okay.
EST. It's the first time you heard a scratch on a record. You definitely turned around and was like, what just happened on this record? And that record came out, what, 81, 82, 83? I was 5, bro. I wasn't even living in America. So it is a staple of the DJ culture. First and foremost, it is the holy grail. There is no discussion about it. It is that. So in a conversation like this, I have to put that as my first.
All right, no doubt. Vern, what you got, bro?
All right, I'm gonna go start in 1980, and I'm battling between these three. I'm gonna say this one because in retrospect, people diss it and all that kind of stuff. But I think without it, you don't get hip hop as we know it on a mainstream level. So I'm gonna go Rapper's Delight, with Sugar Hill, because it's the one I can remember my auntie rapping to that. You know what I mean? And she wasn't no hip hop head or whatever. But I think it's the first song to me that was kind of ubiquitous, and it wasn't just you had to be ahead to know about it. Now we know in hindsight, them stealing rhymes and all that kind of stuff, and Sylvia doing whatever she did. But that was a huge record for hip hop at the time. So I'm choosing Rapper's Delight for 1980.
Nah, I agree. I mean, again, we can go around. That definitely was on mine. Again, we have the hoopla of, who wrote it, and Kaz, they borrowed Kaz's, rhyme book or whatever like that. And this is a piece where a lot of times people talk about ghostwriting and things like that. And that's a whole nother, piece that we could spill into. But like you said, Vern, I just felt like that was the springboard. Like without that, we may not get any 12-inch steals. You know what I mean? And everything like that. So yeah, definitely Rapper's Delight for me. JR, what you got up first, good brother?
Maybe, I hope nobody ain't say it, but I'm gonna say The Breaks from Kurtis Blow.
Yeah.
I mean,
nobody said it yet.
Oh, nobody said it yet? Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going with Kurtis Blow, The Breaks. I mean, what can you say? Like, if it wasn't for, he was like the mainstream dude, you know what I'm saying? Like, this dude was one of the first dudes, the first hip hop artist on Soul Train. So that's a big deal. So if you didn't have this record and it crossing over the way it did, you really wouldn't know where hip hop would be at, to be honest. So I'm starting with The Breaks.
Yeah, we can go around again if we if you have it, raise your hand if you want to speak on it. But The Breaks to me, like, everybody, for the most part, my mom's is a jazz musician, so I didn't grow up in the house with soul music playing on Sundays and on the weekends when you clean, and it was jazz music all the time and stuff like that. So I was a shorty. I was in the crib a lot. I really didn't start going out until like 4th and 5th grade. So I wasn't at the block parties and things like that. But The Breaks, I can remember that being one of the first songs that I heard. So how Ron was saying his auntie was singing Rapper's Delight, I remember hearing The Breaks. You know what I mean? I can remember being on my grandmother's porch in West Oak Lane and hearing people play that joint and everything like that. So that was really my first introduction to hip hop with Kurtis Blow. And, just enabling people to just understand the history with Kurtis, and like, this is one of the most important people in hip hop. You know what I mean? And this is where I'm always challenging people, especially the young boys, because I understand at a certain age that you grow up in, it's all about the bars. And then you hear Kurtis Blow and you're like, this dude. But I always tell people before I go back to send them to listen to Run-DMC, I send them back a couple more years. You know what I mean? So they can see where Run-DMC went to. Because if you just send them to 84 from 2023, Run-DMC is going to sound whack. But if you send them back to 81 and kind of let them hear, like the buildup of it. So please, if anybody out there watching hasn't done their homework on Kurtis Blow, please do your homework on Kurtis Blow. Definitely one of the most important pieces. And again, we're talking about the foundation, because again, for the premise of the show, the world is over and we're rebuilding. To rebuild it, you need the foundation. So we got to start again. And Kurtis Blow was a huge piece of the foundation. Fun fact, Run's first name was son of Kurtis Blow. Run from Run-DMC was Kurtis Blow's DJ. They called him the son. Yeah, they called him the son of Kurtis Blow. Yeah. So again, like, Kurtis is a huge piece in that. So just keeping that in mind. Vern, you had your hand up for the
Yeah,
breaks.
so there's a couple of reasons. JR, I'm starting in a chronological order, and I was battling on using the breaks, so I'm glad I didn't, because I didn't want you to look at me in a tone of face, or whatever.
Here we go.
But Kurtis Blow like was the first rap superstar, I think. I mean, he had the style, because my Uncle Click, man, I had two of the coolest uncles in the world, Uncle Click and Uncle Applejack. And
Your uncle name was Click, like Click the
Click. His name was Click.
Click the
They
remote.
call him Click.
So
Click.
Uncle Click and Uncle Applejack. All right.
Applejack, yeah, man. Yeah, Uncle Click could be washing his Bonneville every 2 days with the white walls, bumping that Kurtis Blow, man. So that stood out for me. That Kurtis Blow must be that dude, because Uncle Click like him. Yeah.
Right.
Now the thing too with Kurtis is that he don't get a lot of props for his production.
Yep.
The stuff that he did, a lot of his stuff was self-produced, and then he, would produce for, he did a lot of Fat Boys, like their big smash hits, like he was doing that stuff, the Jailhouse Rap and all that. Like he was doing that. So like, we gotta give Kurt them board props too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And not for nothing, we all talk about Crush Groove, we talk about LL's part, we talk about different parts. Kurtis was If I Ruled the World, like, I mean, let's go back and watch Crush Groove and understand, like, this dude was that dude, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So I mean, at the end of the day, the thing I'm gonna love about doing this series is just really to show how the evolution of rhyming started. And it seems that what happened was that it evolved, and then we just started to shit on the people in the beginning. Like, like they weren't the springboard, and it just became, oh, they whack because they don't rhyme like this. But the people wouldn't rhyme like this if it wasn't for this. Correct. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, I think that's another thing that we do in hip hop. Is like we shit on the people who were the foundation, because maybe they weren't as sharp as what was to come, but we wouldn't have what was to come without them. So again, if you don't know about Kurtis Blow, I challenge you. Start off with the breaks, Christmas rapping, just go back, and Crush Groove is a wonderful place to start.
Came out with two ladies.
He did come out with two doors on his own.
Yeah, man.
He hit you with what's my man who used to hoop for the Clippers? Lou Williams. He was Lou Williams before Lou Williams was. Two shorties. Kurtis Blow came out with two shorties in '85 on stage. Like, you know what I mean? So you had that going on. Bae, what you got for one of yours, good bro? Oh, I'm sorry, Porsche. You wanted to speak on the break?
I just want to add one more thing about the interesting, like maybe a fun factor, I don't know, about the breaks is that, and it's on my list too. Kurtis, like the lyrics of the breaks, as simple as they were, there's many uses. I think there's like over, 80 different uses of the word break, breaks to break, like the different varying versions of that. And I don't think we give the literary devices enough credit back at that time. Like Big gets a lot of credit for, the way he like danced through, rhyming and sort of bending words to match the beat. Kurtis Blow, I mean, the way that breaks was used throughout that track was pretty impressive. I mean, it's very reminiscent of Jay-Z's 22 Twos, right? It's the same sort of concept in a way. So I kind of have to shout that out because so important, because nobody before that had done that, right? So there was like a complexity there lyrically, even though it's so simple.
And Porsche, this is why you are the dopest co-host. Welcome to Planet Earth, because I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I never really paid attention like that, so now I gotta go back and listen.
And then I paid attention to it. Yeah, and it's all break, and then breaks like in a car, and then break. Like, yeah, it's crazy, and it's so dope.
All right, no doubt. See, this is why I love the show. I'm always learning too. Vay, what you got for one of yours, good brother?
I got 1983. Run-DMC, Sucker MCs, man.
Yes.
B-side to It's Like That, but Sucker MCs was the one that stuck out to me. Not only because I love the beat, but also, it brought a certain level, a level of aggression to battle rap, basically. At a time where, battle rap always existed, but here it was in a song. Nowadays it's a dime a dozen. They hear braggadocious raps about whack MCs and stuff like that, but Sucker MCs was the first. You know, it was the one you didn't want to be that. You didn't want to be a sucker. You know what I'm saying? Or you know, and later it, you know, led the way for songs like Gangster and stuff like that. So it's kind of set off a lineage of braggadocious rap, battle rap on wax basically. And yeah, man, I just remember back then, like that song was infectious, man. Like, you know, parties, block parties, that joint came on. Forget about it. So I feel like it's an essential song when you're talking about the early 80s, not only for Run-DMC, but also, you know, one of the many records they had that influenced generations, like we were talking with Kurtis Blow. It's all about what you do with that influence going forward, and Run was an extension of Kurtis Blow, as we mentioned. So.
Right. And the other piece about that is the drums, man. You know, the evolution of how Zoe was saying, you know, you're rhyming over disco, so now you're getting into drum machines, and when you hear Sucker MCs, it's just the drums. You know what I mean? Like, we ain't even sampling nothing yet. You know what I mean? So, just that in itself. Because a lot of joints.
No, my fault. They was a complete flip. They was a complete flip of what everybody was doing. So it's like, you know, we go from something like Message, which is still super musical, to just drums and verses. That's it. Same thing with, you know, the style of dress, and, you know, them just coming on with leather coats and you know, the jeans and the fedoras. It's like, you know, they doing the complete flip of what everybody was doing. That's why, you know, Run-DMC came in and kind of laid the hammer down.
Right.
When he came up.
Sort of like
that dude dressing like
I like it.
People were dressing like the village people. So, you know what I mean? So, you got that. What you gonna say, John?
I got a question. So was when
Burns and Run-DMC mode.
Oh
right?
God. So Sucker MC, so did Run kind of change the landscape on where people were rhyming with that? With Sucker MC?
I think he did. You know what I mean? Because it became like Vague was saying, and again, I'll let him speak on it as an MC, but I know for me as a listener, it was just like, it was very in your face. You know what I mean? Like Kurtis Blow was cool. It was like basketball. You know, if I ruled the world, you know, everything was like, hey, man, we cooling out here.
We went to London for a brand new home.
Like Levert, we just cooling to like, yo, nah, nigga, like we coming like 10, you know, 3 years ago, a friend of mine, like on some old like real like in depth, and then the drums was just so hard. Like Zoe said, it's just stripped down. It's just nothing but the drums. Like if you came over my crib and I just hit play on the machine right now and you just heard drums, you'd be like, that's cool, but we're the sample. Like you know, and at that point in time, the drums were just, I remember being a shorty and just being like, my head exploding, like, yo, this is crazy. Because, and it's something again just about, and I always telling people, man, it's something about being outside at that time. You know what I'm saying? That it's hard to go back and understand it now. I want young folk to do it, do your homework, but when you were outside, it was just like, yo, it was this constant, what the fuck is this? I know for me it was a constant, what the fuck is this? You know, and we'll see that throughout, you know, the series of the first time I heard You Got to Chill, it's like, yo, what the fuck is this? Or the first time I heard Rebel Without a Pause, like, what the fuck is this loud noise? Like, you know, it's this constant what the fuck moment, just constantly all the time. There's just getting better and better and better, you know, and to me, that's just something. Again, I'm not, you know, shitting on what's coming out now, because we still have great music that's coming out, but it was a time to be alive and a time to be outside back then, when you can just constantly turn on the radio and be like, yo, what's this? Or hear a car driving down the street and being like, yo, what's that? You know, constantly like that, and being able to intake music like that, like not getting music off the internet or things like that, or just really just being outside and hearing it. But Veg, what did you think about when you heard Sucker MCs from the MC standpoint?
I mean, obviously in hindsight, people can go back and see the lyrics are simple, but at the time, it's just a commentary on things like, I'm light skinned and I live in Queens and I love eating chicken and collard greens. It's like, you know, you're not used to hearing somebody talk about themselves so candidly. And it was a dope bar for us, you know, and in a lot of ways, when you think about the beat, and the aggression of the lyrics and the whole battle mentality, you know, it's the beginnings of boom bap. You know, if you ask me, it's the same vibe that we want when we want to listen to some boom bap, hardcore lyrics, hardcore beat. So yeah, I mean, and you know, at that time, I mean, I knew that whole damn record. Like, you know, but that was one of them records where I knew it. And like you said, Kill, I didn't own it.
Right.
So it's because it was in the party. It was at the party. My brother DJ, you know, somebody else played it. So yeah, man, just just a memorable record from Run-DMC, and I know for me personally, like one of my earliest memories of hip hop.
Right. Vern, you were gonna say something?
Yeah. So to add on to what you said, you too, Vade. You see the progression from Kurtis Blow, which was the progression from Melly Mel and them with the, you know, rock and roll outfits and stuff. And Kurtis Blow was most classy with it. And then Run-DMC is like this some aggressive young youth street kind of culture or whatever. And you see that, you know, more in hip hop when Run-DMC came out, because that when Sucker MC came out, what was that 83, 84, 83? 83, I was 11. So I'm probably fourth grade. You know, about to start coming to my own, and I'm gonna talk about that more when we go through the years on here. So you start kind of sensing that this is something for the youth. This is starting to become our thing, not our parent thing, not my Uncle Click with, you know, with Curtis and Melly Mel and the Sugar Hill and stuff. It's more youth culture driven, and Run-DMC to me was the first act to kind of bring it to that level.
Right. No doubt. Definitely. My brother Mayor in the building. What's going on, fam?
Peace. How you?
Everything good, man. Everything good.
Part of me.
Nah, it's all good, bro.
Bring the NYC Transit, man.
It's all good, bro. It's all good. It's all good. We chopping it up about songs from 80 to 85 that drop. Songs and albums. Which one you got for us, brother?
You know what? I don't know if I would go with, as far as, I'm pretty sure somebody already said it, as far as like you said to show future generations what hip hop was.
Right.
I don't know what year Sugar Hill dropped Rapper's Delight, but I think
1980.
That was before.
1980.
Right. So, and the reason why I say that is because the Robinson family actually had the opportunity to. They took me to their crib years, like this had to be like 10, 12 years ago, right? I won't say his name started with an L, but they had a TV show about him too. And when I got to the crib, I didn't know. His name started with an L. We was at some spot in Jersey, and he pulled out this $1 million bill on me at the dinner table. And he showed me this $1 million bill. I'm like, what the fuck is this? He said, yeah, man, that's how much money I missed here sitting here fucking with you tonight. And I'm like, but when he sent it on me, they ended up, you know, we went back. They had like a cookout, like a get together at his crib. I want to say his name is not Lior.
I'm gonna look
it start with L. But when I got to the crib, it was me, Dio, some OGs from Mount Vernon took me over there. He had Sugar Hill in the bottom of the pool. Like, you know how the letters on the album were? And I didn't know what Sugar Hill was, so I was like, yo, who the fuck is Sugar Hill? And then we talking to him, he just kept stunting on me. He said, yeah, man, I just seen about $50,000 of my money flash across the screen from samples. McDonald, I got to call my lawyer. He was just, bro, when I say stunt level 10,000, and he kept looking at me, hey, young blood, you know. And I'm looking at him like, why he doing this to me? I know you're rich. I get it.
Right.
So I'm going to say, I didn't really realize how much, is her name still not Sylvia Robinson? I forgot
Sylvia Robinson.
It was her son.
Is his name Leland?
Leland Robinson. And he ended up giving me a Cadillac. Well, my man Dio ended up this stretch Cadillac Platinum Edition. As he let me hold his shit for 2 years while he was in Atlanta, and I guess he just took a liking to me. And so when I met that family, I just always, he was stunting on me, but he also, that was my first time understanding publishing and residual income from how those records, and his mother had ushered in hip hop. So the first hip hop record to date to me, and me knowing Leland was that when he stunted on me, and I realized who his family was, and then, you know, they had a huge ass studio. I just thought, I'm gonna drag the story out, but I'm gonna say Rappers Alike, because that was a set off record for me, and plus the first time somebody stunted on me at that level, and I had to just take
it. All right, no doubt. The next joint I got White Lines from Grandmaster Flash.
Man.
White Lines, I can remember hearing that bass line. You know what I mean? And the funniest thing is, again, and I want people to understand that I'm a shorty. Like, for me, when I talk about me falling in love with hip hop, it's really at the age of 10 years old at 84. So a lot of these records we're talking about right now, I'm really still a shorty, and I'm not really understanding it. So I remember White Lines. I ain't know it was about drugs. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a shorty. You know what I mean? Like, I get the don't do it. But again, nigga, this is 83. You know what I mean? Crack ain't wiped out Philadelphia yet. So I really didn't even understand that White Lines was about drugs and cocaine. And I mean, I get it now, white lines, but when you a little 6-year-old and an innocent 8-year-old kid, you know, we ain't talking about an 8-year-old kid out here now and 23 who's holding guns and selling drugs. Nigga, I was an innocent kid playing with Transformers and G.I. Joes. I just know I like the bass line. You know what I mean?
Higher, baby.
Yeah, get higher, baby. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. I'm playing with G.I. Joe. Like,
that's what they was doing while they was recording it too.
Exactly.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? I didn't realize all that stuff. People had to come back and scoop me like, yo, niggas name would be Scoop, you know, rock ski, like skiing in the snow, and the snow is the coke. I'm like, nigga, I'm 8. I'm not putting everything together. I just thought it was an ill name, ski. You know what I mean? But White Lines is definitely, and then again, to just come back to how Mob Deep and Have just brought that together for, you know, the Mob joint. And I'll be one of the few people in the minority who like the OG with Prodigy better than with the Little Kim remix. I know I'm in the minority, and that's fine. Y'all know me. I don't mind being by myself, but that OG fucking Mob joint with just P killing it 100 million times better than me in the remix. But that was my next joint up with White Lines. Pete, what you got up next for us?
I'm gonna go before somebody else snags this one. Schoolie D with PSK, and that, of course, I mean, it's self-explanatory. We talk about it. In fact, I'm pretty impressed. Like, Twitter talks about this a lot, more than I ever thought they would. So I do think that people do understand the influence and how important that track is to, just Schoolie D in general is to the foundation of hip hop. And for those that aren't familiar, that was PSK was the first kind of labeled the first gangster rap song. It was talking about like guns, of like violence, sex, drugs, like everything that wasn't being talked about prior, and that would go on to influence rappers like Ice-T, and that's post-influential. So now you've got somebody coming out of Philly who's now influencing rappers out of Cali, and then you've got, you know what I mean? So that kind of pushes the culture that way too. So that's got to be on the in that Bible. It's got to be there.
Right. I actually have the album listed for mine, but PSK again, you know, and I love Ice-T for giving credit for Schoolie D for saying like, hey, this is what birth 6 in the morning and things like that. And again, Schoolie definitely one of the, you know, first big MCs, if not the first big Philly MC. And people to this day, you know, when he says PSK, what does it mean? People always say, what the hell does that mean? Parkside Killers. Mm-hmm. Like Parkside Ave is in West Philadelphia. And I never forget, I was a shorty and my mom was coming from a jazz rehearsal and we went through the park and we end up at this light and it was at 52nd and Parkside. And like my little head just like was like, oh shit, this is Parkside 5-2 and they go to Parkside Inn and the bar and everything like that Schoolie was rapping about. So that is what PSK stands for, Parkside Killers. So I definitely agree with Schoolie D being in there. So what you got up next, good brother?
I'm gonna flip it back to 1980. Because by this time, you know, there was a few 12 inches out already. You got Rappers Delight, you had Super Rapping, which I think both of those was 79. So then we got Spoonie G and the Treacherous 3 with New Rap Language. B-side is Love Rap. I love rap. Like Love Rap was the drums for the Terminator X to the Hour Chaos joint.
Yeah.
So like, you know, you got that, but the New Rap Language was dope because it kind of introduced cats to rapping double time. So like they rhyming, so they, you know, almost like 16th notes in the song rather than they doing, you know what I'm saying? So like even when you hear like the Busy Bee and Kool Mo D, where Kool Mo D kind of surprised him and went at him, you know, you can hear him start to do that, and then, you know, he and LA Sunshine is start into the New Rap Language routine, and even after they finish, they go into, you know, they start Love Rap. So this is definitely an influential joint as far as just, you know, testing new styles of rapping, new styles of rhyming.
Right. I love what you just did along with Porsche did, because again, it's this stigma that everything in the 80s was so simplistic. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, oh, that's whack, or, you know, y'all didn't know what they were doing. So I'm loving the fact that y'all are breaking down how Porsche broke down what Kurtis was doing with breaks and what you're doing with the New Rap Language and things like that, to understand that even though it may sound simplistic, you got to also realize it was dope at that time. Like, you know what I mean? I'm gonna get right to you, Vern. I posted today, I found an old tape of my beats, and I put it in the tape deck. And it's a double cassette tape deck, and that shit was mind blowing in 1985. Like, it ain't shit in 2023, but in 1985, I remember me coming home telling my man, Cool DJ Frank, yo, we got the double tape deck. We could dub tapes now. And so again, something that was so ingenious 30 years ago, of course, looks like a relic now, but at that time, it was incredible for what it was. What are you gonna say, Vern?
To your point, niggas was riding horse and buggies. That Model T was like light years ahead, and you can't crap on the Model T now that we got Lambos and Porsches. At that time, you wasn't walking no more. You wasn't on no horse, so you got to give credit to Ford. You know, so to your point.
Hey, bro, I always say a Cherry Pathfinder, like Buster was talking about, was Jay's 4.6. You know what I mean? Range Rovers. Back in the day, you know, a Jetta was the equivalent of a BMW. You pull up in a Jetta in 1987, nigga, you shutting down the block. You know what I mean? So in a Volkswagen, of all model cars, a Volkswagen is shutting down the block. You know, so DJ Raekwon, what you got up next, bro?
I'm gonna double back a little bit on some Run-DMC. This is probably the first video that I remember actually having the pleasure of watching. Rockbox. And that joint stuck with me to this day. That was the first time I heard anything like it. I probably only watched videos up to that point just to see this one particular video. And I think for me, out of all the songs that they did, I think this one is probably the most influential, only because of the rock aspect and how they used it. They used it like no other, and it doesn't sound like they were trying to steal from that side of the house, more so just trying to let you know that, hey, this is how they coming. So I'm going Rockbox.
Yeah, bro. I mean, Rockbox. I mean, what can you say? If not the first hip hop video played on MTV, one of the first. Y'all gonna hear that a lot from me tonight because my brain, I'm 49, it don't work like it used to. So it's gonna be a lot. If it wasn't the first, it was one of the first. But then to go back to what I think Vague touched on about how you would hear music during these times, you couldn't just turn on the radio and hip hop was on the radio 24/7. You know what I mean? So a lot of times you could only listen to hip hop maybe on a college station on a Thursday night or Friday night. It was always on a late night. It was always on.
It'd be past midnight.
It'd be midnight. You know, you're gonna be tired for school the next morning. But again, I'm telling you, young boys, y'all don't know what we did for hip hop. Went to school many a day, tired as hell, because we was up all night listening to the radio. But being able to, like, you know, not just being able to just go on your phone and just pull it up whenever you want to hear it. It was really like having to wait to hear it, and then making sure you had your tape ready to record it, so you wouldn't have to wait to hear it anymore, or hearing it when somebody is driving past, and we didn't have Shazam. We couldn't just, you in the store and you just hit Shazam and the name of the song pop up. You know, you had the, you know, I'm going to the record store many a day, like, yo, I don't know the name of the song, but it went something like this. You know what I mean? So just different things like that. So I think that that's dope too. Vern, what you got up next, bro?
All right, so the rest of the songs I'm gonna list. Shout out to all these songs, because as y'all mentioned the titles, I'm going back in time thinking about where I was when those songs came out. I mean, because they're like time capsules. But you know, when you're outside, it hits different. So 84, 85, I'm in junior high. Every Friday night at Tolleson Junior High, we had a dance. And nigga, when you heard discos don't open till after dark, I mean, the freaks come out at night, bro. Come on, man. Ecstasy has one of the top 5 voices in hip hop history to me. It was so bold.
His pocket is crazy.
Man, come on. And the funny thing about that is, though, if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. But I think Jaleel wrote the rhymes. Ecstasy just delivered the mugs, man. He used to just ride the track like nothing else, man. So I'm going the Freaks Coming Out at Night, and can I do half? Freaks Come Out at Night and Friends. Every Friday. I mean, I can remember. I can remember being at one of the dances at Tolleson Junior High in the lunchroom at Friday night. Friends come on, and I'm hollering at somebody. It's like girlfriends, and I'm trying to pull Stephanie Royal or Ebony McClendon, one of them. So bro, I remember the girls in the first grade, man.
I mean, I do too, but I do my Men in Black moment when I'm being recorded. You know what I mean?
Bro, listen, I'm 51. What's going, the statute of limitations
is over. I feel you.
So I'm gonna just say Houdini. Freaks Coming Out at Night. Freaks Come Out at Night. / Friends.
All right.
Friends was the one. Friends was crazy.
Yeah,
Friends after 5 minutes. 5 minutes of funk.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Just
Larry Smith.
Houdini. We gonna dive. We gonna dive into them. JR, what you got up next, bro?
I'm gonna do this because we going to 85, right?
Well, move out however you want. Like Vern, did it in chronological. I just kind of had the week I had to just throw things down. So
yeah, I did too. Okay, all right. Well, I'm gonna go with this. I'm gonna do this for my pop. When this is the story when he told me the show. When that dropped, my dad said I did not know. He was like, "Yo, I wanted to live forever." After hearing this joint, he was like, "That's how much like y'all said, you had to be outside." And he said being outside when the show came out, it was nuts. It was like everybody wanted to play this record. Like
the show was everywhere.
He was like, it's
everywhere.
Nuts. You know what I'm saying? And it's so crazy when he was here and that would come on. It was just like he would get so bright with it. Like he would be so hyped when that joint just dropped. You know what I'm saying? And I'm looking at him while he's driving, like, dude, like for real. And he's like, yo, it just takes me back to the moment when I first heard it. You know what I mean? And then to find out that Teddy Riley did it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you didn't know that, you know what I mean? So definitely, if you want to talk about hip hop, I think the show with Dougie Fresh and Slick Rick and the Gift Fresh crew. So,
yeah, man, I gotta touch on that too because that was on my list. The show was dope to me. Mine was Lottie Dottie, which was the B-side at the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Lottie Dottie was the first song, at least for me, that had some curse words in it. And I couldn't play it in my mother's house. Now, I don't have any older siblings, so I had to go to my man Classic's house across the street. And his older brother, Walt, we would listen to it at his crib because I couldn't play it at my crib. So that was the first time for me that I had to sneak out the house to go hear something, you know what I mean? Because again, everybody watching, we didn't have AirPods, we didn't have Beats by Dre's, we didn't have none of that shit. There was one stereo, and if you were gonna play it, the whole house was gonna hear what was being played. So we couldn't do that. And again, I mean, just everything, the beatboxing, Slick Rick was just the illest, you know what I mean? And again, the importance of the 12-inch, the A side and the B side, we're like both. You could argue back and forth. Somebody may say Lottie Dottie show, somebody may say show Lottie Dottie, but both were just incredible songs. And I just remember Rick being like, yo, with my, my Bally's on. Like, that to me was the first time I was hearing fashion in hip hop. Even before Run with Adidas, it was like, yo, what's Bally's? Oh, okay. And everything like that. So again, very, very dope pull, JR, because that's, a lot of people don't really speak on that. And Vern and Zoe, I got y'all. Vern, what you got?
All right, man. So I'm in the 8th grade. My sister's in the 7th grade, and I can recall her walking down the hallway with her crew. She's short, beatboxing, and her crew rapping Lottie Dottie. It was hilarious. And another thing that's funny to me, I don't know. I'm from Gary, so like Bobos were called volleys. First
of all, for the young audience watching, what are Bobos called?
Bobos are not Nikes, are not Adidas, are not. Those are shoes that grandmama bought you. Thought she was setting you out for the school, and you got Joan jived on, whatever rank, whatever you want to call it. You got killed for it. So he said, put your Bally's on. Some dude at my school thought he said put your volleys on, and I mean that probably ain't funny to nobody but me, but that was hilarious at the time. He wasn't talking about no daggone volleys. But yeah, I digress.
And it's so fun because everybody has a different name. In Philly, we call that stuff Miller. If it was knockoff, it was Miller. Like, yo, that ain't no real low nigga. That's Miller. You know what I mean? So everybody has a different word for it. What were you gonna say about the show on Lottie Dottie, Zoe?
Lottie Dottie, I think I was in 2nd grade when that came out, and I can clearly remember us being on the playground because it was that song and it was Roof is on Fire. That was another one that had cuss words in it by Rockmaster Scott. And we be on the playground. Yes, so we be on the playground singing Roof is on Fire. And when you get to the part, we don't need no water, leather, and you be looking around, who gonna say it?
Right.
Ooh, so and so. You know what I mean? So the dope thing about Lottie Dottie is it kind of falls in the Suck MC's lane where it strips everything down, and you feel like you at the party, you feel like you in the park where it's just an MC and another cat beatboxing. You ain't even got no equipment. You don't even need no equipment. So it was another thing where it's like, a beatbox song can hold its own by itself and still be a hit. Like, I mean, it's just they're still performing that song right now and bringing the house down. You know what I'm saying? Right. And then later on you get the human beatbox, you get the human jock box. You know what I mean? So it opened the doors for a lot of different songs and a lot of different opportunities too.
Yeah, and then again, don't know if it was the first. It was one of the to bring in an R&B song with the whole "It's all because of you." I'm feeling sad and blue. You went away, and now my life is for you. Know what I mean? With rainy days. What's the name of that song, Vern? JR, my brain.
No, JR. That's
I was about to say mariachi. It's not Sukiyaki.
Yeah.
That's what it is. I said mariachi.
4 p.m. That's my favorite. That's the only reason I know 4 p.m. is because they redid that.
I have no idea who 4 p.m. is. Who is 4
JR
p.m.?
Is
this like After Seven's little brother? I've never heard of 4 p.m.
Probably.
Okay, I'm like, there's a group called 4 p.m.
We talk about 4 p.m. Really, Porsche?
Well, they covered Sukiyaki. It's one of my. I love that song.
They did.
I've never heard of 4 p.m.
No, I love love. So wherever it is, I'm gonna.
We know you love love, Porsche. We know you love love. Amir, what you got up next, good brother? Amir, what you got?
Yo, a lot of these records, respectfully, before my time, but I will say I remember my uncle, my cousin Mike, man, and I always attach it. He definitely was selling mad coke, and I remember this nigga.
The statute of limitations.
This is different with Vern and you're first grade to your uncle selling coke. So we may just,
Listen, he was a legend, man. This nigga had on the fish net, The only thing I remember, and this was after I was a child, so I just remember him playing me these records. It had to be like 91, 89, 91, but he was telling me about 86 and 85. He's like, yo, little nigga, And I'm looking at him like, why he putting this coke in aluminum foil like this? It look crazy. So, hey, yo, Kill, this dude is. Yo,
are we getting to a song?
Coke stories are the greatest.
Yeah. I'm like, is this Pusha T episode? Or we?
Listen.
Coke stories are the greatest.
He used to tell me he was rocking Houdini though.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
But he had the silk. I never forget, he had like a silk tank top with the Adidas logo and some shell tops. And I'm like, yo, but he never shaved his arm, so he had mad hair coming from the pit. Shit was wild. It was a wild era.
So the song that we're going with is Houdini.
If you look at them videos in the 80s, none of them niggas shaved their armpits, man.
Right. You're right. That's right. That's right. Okay.
They killed Snitching Randy.
Here from a Mayor Pete Rock, 21 grams, first artist signed to True Soul Records over there. With cocaine stories of his uncles who don't shave their underarms. It's so mad fucking coke.
He sits there with his microphone muted, looking mad serious, and then he unmutes it, and it's just like.
Came out swinging.
Just I'm gonna go with, and again, Sugar Hill Gang. I feel like, and again, this is just me as a shorty, so I'm not knowing anything about biting rhymes. And so again, you like Vern said earlier, you know, you see things later on in life, but at the time it was just good music to me, you know. And Eighth Wonder by Sugar Hill was just one of my favorite songs growing up with. I remember hearing Salt and Pepper's I Desire and hearing portions of Eighth Wonder and that. And again, you know, I know they get a bad rap for everything with the rhymes and everything. And I kind of do want to touch on that for a second, because something came up because people were talking about Lil C's on the timeline and everything like that. And we're not going deep into that, but you know, it was just about, you know, me saying, yo, he didn't even write his rhymes, that Big wrote his rhymes, and then people were like, yeah, but it was a lot of other people. Here's my thing on Ghostwriting, and we have two MCs on. Zoe, you've been in studios with many. I would love to hear the opinions. For me, Ghostwriting went through stages in hip hop to me. And what I mean by that is in the 80s, hip hop was so innocent. That's the thing that I really want to come back to when we kind of finish off with the songs for this part of just the 80s was an innocent time for hip hop. You know, nobody was thinking about who was the most lyrical, sharp samurai. So if everybody up here, if we all grew up in the same neighborhood and we were all best friends, and just me and Vegas were the only people who rhymed, guess what? We were not kicking these other four people out of our group just because they didn't rhyme. It would be like, we'll write your rhymes for you, because we were just chilling. Like, I don't know if the goal in 1984 was to get a record deal. I don't know if people in 1984 got out of school and was knocking on doors at Mercury and fucking, you know, Interscope Records trying to get a record deal. We were just having fun with this. Now, when you get to the 90s, hip hop became more of like a combative sport to me. Like, you wouldn't want to write your own. You wanted to write your own rhymes. You wouldn't want somebody to write rhymes for you. I can remember being in plenty of ciphers, and Vague, I'm sure the same with him at Morgan. I was in the studio many nights, and if I couldn't come up with a bar, guess what? I didn't make the song. Nobody in my crew ever said, oh, Kill, don't worry, we'll write your rhymes for you. Those innocent days of hip hop to me were gone by the 90s. At least for me and my crew, they were. Nobody was writing each other's rhymes. It was like, nigga, you either write your own shit or you just don't make the song. Come back and try to make the next song or whatever. So to me, that to me is like the ghostwriting thing. So it's why, like, oh, well, y'all got the, you know, Rappers Delight. They didn't write their rhymes. And again, I'm not trying to move the goalposts, because I know someone out there watching is saying, "Kill, you moving the goalpost?" No, I'm not. I'm just trying to show you where hip hop was. You know, like, again, in the 90s, it was still, to me, when I got my turntables in 84, nothing in my mind was about making money. The only thing I wanted to be was respect. I wanted people to be like, yo, Kill is nice. He a dope DJ. That was it. You move that to maybe 98. Now people's mindsets are, yo, I want to get a record deal. I want to get signed by Puff, and I want to fucking do videos with mermaids like Big and shit like that. You know what I mean? So the mind frame changed. Vague, for you, does the ghostwriting thing, do you agree with what I'm saying? Do you disagree? Like, how are your feelings on ghostwriting and things like that?
I think there were two different situations when it comes to ghostwriting that earlier. that early. I think there's a street level and then there's the industry level. On the street level, it was the assumption that you wrote your own rhymes. I think if you wrote for somebody, maybe I had a talent show and you wrote for your man so you could be a part of the crew. But I think when you just think about rhyming on the street, the assumption was that you wrote what you spit. But when it came to the record industry, it was about making records, making good records and probably a little bit of your look, and things like that. So I think the whole, write your own rhymes thing was a rule more so for the streets and kind of became a rule in the 90s as far as recording, because it kind of became the expectation, more record deals, more, a higher skill level or whatever. But the thing that people forget is that ghostwriting was just always part of recording, including rappers. So yeah, it's dope. And yeah, man, you skipped me. I got another one, man.
Oh, my fault. I'm sorry. Amir keeps dipping off with his coke stories, and I got to keep moving everybody around. So that's my bad. Wait, I'm waiting for what Amir got next. I can't wait for the next story because it's gonna come. Hey, what you got, bro?
I got a coke story if you want.
No, Amir got coke covered. We're covered with all cocaine stories from Mount Vernon to fucking New Rochelle. We are good with coke stories. Now, if you got some Brooklyn ones, we're open. But up top New York, Amir got that locked. So.
Now, I know exactly what he mean about the outfit, too, and the armpit with the... You kind of like, damn, shave some of that deodorant on. That shit was taking me back. Like, yeah, I saw a lot of niggas look like that.
Like they had buckwheat in their headlock.
Right.
My next up, I got 1984 Fat Boys sticker. You want to talk about routines? You want to talk about aggressive rapping? Fat Boys get slept on the bars, especially Cool Rock Ski. Like when you go back and listen to him rhyming, it's like
Cool Rock Ski was nice.
He kind of sound like dudes like 10 years later. Back then, with everything. But yeah, he be fronting on the boxing, bro. That's what it is. Me and him be debating boxing. I'm just like, hey man, just stick to the rap shit. But also, Buffy. I feel like Buffy is the greatest beatboxer ever. You know what I'm saying? The bass, the breath control. I mean, this is a big dude. You know what I'm saying? The same props we give Pun, we need to give the same props to Buffy. You know what I'm saying? Right. And Stickum, that's like part of the song. You know what I'm saying? When he just goes in and human beatboxing kills it. I mean, again, like a lot of these songs are origins or origins to different genres or styles of rap that are common today. And I kind of feel like, even with the Run-DMC, as far as Suck MCs having a sort of aggression in hip hop, I think the Fat Boys aren't remembered for that. But Stick 'Em is one of those songs you can point to, like, no, they weren't to be messed with when it came to spitting, and especially with the beatbox. So I know for me that stuck out. Again, we didn't have the luxury of, midnight hit and you just download it on your phone and listen as many times as you want. We had to catch it on the radio. Me in 1984, what am I, 7? Something like that, 7 or 8. Just trying to listen to it when it comes on the radio in the party and the adults trying to change the station. That's kind of how we got our hip hop. Like, there were times where I wanted to be like, everybody shut the fuck up so I can hear it, but I wouldn't be here with y'all today if I said,
you told him shut the fuck up.
Right. My mother would have ended my ass right there. So, yeah, Fat Boy Sticker, man. It's classic hip hop.
Nah, no doubt, bro. I got this right here. I got the whole album for me.
I got the whole album too, Kill. That's dope.
Let's talk about it. I mean,
I got that one too.
Here, again, these are one of. I remember my dad started dating his now wife in '84, and she brought me this as a Christmas present to probably bribe me, and the bribe worked, and it was like, bet I got this album for Christmas, and I mean everything, Jailhouse Rap, Stick 'Em, Can You Feel It? Fat Boys, Human Beatbox, even Don't You Dog Me. You know what I mean? Like, and again, like Veg said, Cool Rock Ski was nice. Like, and the problem is my old head schooled me to this, and so we'll talk about Kurtis Blow's production on this too, is that he said that this is a Disco 3 album. And Disco 3 was the name of their crew before they became the Fat Boys. So what he was kind of saying was like, yo, this was the album when Kurtis Blow discovered them and just they was raw. Now, all the other Fat Boys albums that we got, those were the Fat Boys. Those were the gimmick of, you know, hey, you guys are fat, you know, be fat. And I know they're eating pizza in a fucking jailhouse fucking outfit in a pizza box. I get it. It looks crazy. But this album was crazy. And again, part of my hip hop foundation, like the Fat Boys, that Disco 3 album was crazy to me. And I think one of the reasons they probably don't get their props is because they're ladder work. You know, the twist with Chubby Checker and the fucking, you know, the Beach Boys, Wipeout, and you know, all that stuff like that. But I mean, if you were outside in '84 or you were at least hearing this joint, you know about it. P, what do you guys say about this album?
No, I just echo what Vegas already said and yourself. I just think that that album, just with the talent that comes from just the one human beatbox, that in and of itself needs to be as a foundational album, because Fat Boys go on to influence many more, you know, rappers along the way. So they definitely need mention. That album is critical. Yeah.
And I agree with Vague with the beatbox. I mean, everything Buff was doing. Like, I don't even know what made this nigga think to cup his hands and do that shit. Like, the stuff he was doing, it was just like, yo, where did you even come up with that from? You know what I mean? So, amazing. Zoe, did you want to speak on the Fat Boys? Or
that was another album that you could play in front of your parents too. Like, that was a safe lyrical album. So you know, when you had the stereo before we got the dual deck tape deck joint, you know what I mean, we were able to play that. And you know, I know my mom, you know, she wasn't, well, none of our parents were hip hop fans, but like, at least my mom would be like, well, you know, I can't understand what they're saying, but at least I like the beat. So I'm like, okay, well, shit, I got you there. So, you know, that means I can get repeat plays.
Right. And then, of course, shout out, God bless the dead, with Buff, who passed away, Marky D, Mark Morales, who went on to produce for Mary J, and just, you know, countless other R&B people. So R&B to them, I mean, RIP to them. And then some of these songs, like Jailhouse Rap was 8 minutes and 30 seconds. I'm looking at these times, like 8 minutes and 30 seconds. Like, you know, Can You Feel It with 6 minutes and 38 seconds. Like, yo, these are some long ass songs, bro. Like,
Jailhouse Rap had a fucking piano solo in it.
Right. It had a whole piano solo in it.
Had a full solo in that mug. I love that. I love that record. I think Jailhouse Rap is my favorite.
It was like a Robert Glasper solo in there. So, you got the whole joint in there. I'm mixed up now. Porsche, I think you're next, right?
You guys actually named all of mine. I don't have anything left. So
all right, Zoe, what's up? What you got next, bro?
I've got you know what? Let me go from let's do Rock the Bells by LL.
I'm looking at that right now.
You know, I mean, that whole first album, matter of fact, with Rock the Bells, Can't Live Without My Radio, you got you know, the I Need a Beat. Well, I guess it was I Need a Beat remix at that point. But L came in and you know, he was kind of battling low key with Run. Like, he was the young hungry kid that came in and you know, it's you know, we already up on Run and his style and how aggressive he is on the mic. And then here comes this even younger kid, about 16 years old, who's sounding super hungry, and you know, he comes in there and, you know, asks for the box on Crush Groove, and I'm like, yo, what's going on? Jake get ready to shoot him, and you know what I'm saying? Like, but like L was the one where, you know, he reminded me of my older cousin, so he was very relatable. You know, he dressed down just like Run-DMC, and it's like, yo, he's closer to our age, And so, you know, when he rhymed, we really listened. So when we heard Can't Live Without My Radio, when I heard Rock the Bells for the first time, like my mind was blown. I was like, yo, I don't know what's going on right now. This shit is crazy. Like, this is the best. This is the best song I've ever heard.
When he recorded that album.
Crazy.
Yeah. He was 17.
Yeah. That's a beautiful picture of the progression, because you got, you know, Mel to Kurtis to Run to LL. It's just a steady flow.
Right. I mean, I'm with you, though. This was definitely on my list. Another piece of my hip hop foundations. I mean, at this time, for people watching, this was the thing right there. Boom boxes. You know what I mean? Like, there was no keeping your headphones on. It was, you know, Radio Raheem from Do the Right Thing. You know what I mean? And the thing for me is my mother always knew the best way to put me on punishment, especially this is 85. So by then I'm all into hip hop. Take away my radio. I fail a test, take away you can't play no records. You can't do nothing. So I Can't Live Without My Radio was damn near like my life, like my anthem. You know what I mean? And I mean, dear Yvette, you know, Yvette, there's a lot of rumors going around so bad. You were athlete. Like, I mean, with that,
I'm gonna tell you something crazy.
What's up?
My parents had bought like a camcorder. Had just bought a camcorder, and Dear Yvette was getting play on the radio, and I memorized the whole joint. And I'm like 7, 8, and I'm like, bet when the camcorder come out, I'm gonna do the joint. Man, I'm so happy I didn't do the joint, because I didn't know what I was talking about. I just knew the words.
Right.
He talking about the girl come out the bathroom, and you know, I'm like, man, I'm so happy. I got secondhand embarrassment for my younger self.
Right. I mean, even with LL, I mean, just the story from Ad Rock from the Beastie Boys, being in Rick Rubin's dorm room and going through demos, like, yo, this dude sound kind of dope. Like, Rick, you should call him back. And like, that story is amazing. Like, you know what I mean? And even this, right? Even the back. I mean, from the time that I was a shorty, I just remember them Jordan 1s, them red Jordan 1s, and I could never get them. I had to dig through the crates because last year I finally got a pair of the Breads, and it was just like to this day, it was just like it all goes back to 1980. I've been waiting for these sneakers from 1984. Y'all know how fucking much these sneakers cost. These sneakers cost, but it was worth it because to this day, LL had them on his album cover from freaking 35 years ago or whatever it is. But I had to get some Bread 1s. And I mean, the craziest thing is I'm in my doctor's office this week, and LL is on TV. I guess it was one of them shows he's on, and it just trips me out because I'm like in the waiting room and I'm like, yo, this dude really is like still here. You know what I mean? Like, he's still in the industry. You know what I mean? Fucked up head. You know, we all know why he kept his Kango on, but you know, because I'm really sitting here watching the TV series like, God, yo, this nigga's head is really fucked up. But neither here nor there. Like, the nigga's still around. Like, this nigga was around from 84 and it's 2023. Like, you know what I mean? And there's something to be said about
40
that.
years.
And not to hold you, I'm actually kind of hype about this him and Q-Tip album that's dropped. Like, I'm actually looking forward to it. So that's a lot to say. There's been a lot of LL slander on the timeline lately. So, you know, definitely a dope pick. Babe, you were shocked. You didn't hear about all the LL slander that was on my timeline last week?
Now, y'all know LL's the GOAT, okay?
Bro, I didn't tag you and Rel just for that reason. I didn't need y'all getting suspicious. So
I've been getting a little loose on Twitter. I gotta chill.
Yeah, I ain't even bother to tag you and Rel. Yeah. So
Vague said that last week. It's a slow process.
I want to even tag you in there. So yeah, definitely a dope pull. So Rec, what you got up next, bro? DJ Rec 1.
Oh, he mute.
You muted, bro. All right, Vague, you got something next?
I'm back.
All right.
Good. Good. I'm good.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yep.
Okay. I'm going kindergarten talent show. I'm still living in Germany at this time, so I don't get all my hip hop, right? Yo, they start playing Nucleus Jam on it. And they bring out, I don't know. Now remember, I live on an army base. So there's a lot of perks to living on an army base. You get shit that the average person may not get. They start bringing some breakers out. These fools are breakdancing to this shit. This is the first time I've ever seen breakdancing in real life. I lost my natural fucking mind.
Yeah, man.
I lost my natural mind. So I gotta put Jam on it on there just for that reason. That was the first time I actually saw somebody, some B-boys and B-girls actually getting loose, like for an extended period of time. Like they was there for what felt like days. But that's gonna be in my Bible, man.
All right, no doubt. Veg, what you gonna say?
I was gonna say one thing about a lot of these records that are being mentioned, especially like songs like Jam on It, for context for kids who aren't around. These shits were like triggering for hip hop heads. Like that shit meant get on the dance floor.
Mm-hmm.
Right here, you know how to pop or break. So you either get up or you get out. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Veg, to your point, what I love about that is triggering. For people watching, this shit is almost like that dumbass electric slide shit or the cha-cha slide. You know how you be at a wedding and the shits come on and every goddamn woman runs to the
every
floor
time.
like it's fucking free money out there. That is exactly what Veg is talking about when it's triggering. That if you heard Jam on it, it's that you got to get up and go. Like you damn near, if you at a wedding or any type of black function and those songs like that goddamn cha-cha slide came on. I never forget, we was in New York for Thanksgiving. The whole goddamn train station was doing the cha-cha slide. T, assistants, they had a goddamn train at 42nd Street doing a damn cha-cha slide. So that's what it was. And this is why you had breakers and train stations, because somebody would be playing Jam on it on the radio. Niggas didn't care. We was hitting the floor. So Big, I love that piece of what you're saying, that it was triggering. Like when you heard certain songs, it meant get up and dance. You know what I mean? Like get up and battle, or get up and do your thing. And Jam on It is definitely one of those songs that, was like the goddamn electric slide or the cha-cha. Now you play the Beyonce Before I Let Go. There's certain things, man. I swear, you will burn down a wedding if the DJ don't play one of those three songs, if not all three. Like you are not, the DJ is not leaving unscathed if you don't play the cha-cha slide. So I don't even know if that's still trying to be in the wedding in a good 3-4 years. I don't know. They may have something new now, but that is the trick. It is. Would you say, right?
They don't, and it is.
Okay, still the same goddamn cha-cha slide, huh, man? Yo, man, I know y'all DJs sick of that shit, ain't y'all, man? Hell yeah. JR, what you got up next, bro?
I don't know if anybody said
What's
it, but
going on?
1984, I'm gonna go with UTFO, Roxanne Roxanne.
See, I was supposed to be next, and I was supposed to say that.
It's a man.
Look, it ain't my fault.
He keep moving the whole screen around, man. He keep popping up on the other end.
Nah, that's all good. Go ahead.
No, but I ain't gonna be long with it. Definitely when you think about hip hop rivalries, it definitely will be one of the first. So I definitely gotta say that, with Roxanne Roxanne for sure.
What you got on it, Bird?
So Roxanne was really the first. So that's when I fell in love with hip hop on Roxanne. Because the earlier stuff that we mentioned, I understand that it was the foundation, but it sounded kind of techno, kind of. Put it this way, Roxanne Roxanne was real musical. Shout out to UTFO. It had a different timbre to it that really stuck to me, and that was one of the first raps that I remembered. So since JL took that, I'm gonna spin off of that and say, I met this dude with the name of a hat. So Roxanne's Revenge. I'll use that as mine because Shantae was different, man. You weren't hearing a lot of female rappers, and she came for them dudes, and she held herself pretty good. So that's one that I would put in my Bible. Jay, I could put Roxanne, and then we're gonna spin to Roxanne's Revenge.
And she was 14.
Yeah, man.
14.
That's crazy. This joint right here, not a totally full album as a whole, but Bite That, Roxanne, Fairy Tale Lover. People sleep, man. People always sleeping on these R. There was a time we were talking about hip hop house on the timeline a couple of weeks ago. We can't forget about the hip hop slow jam, and Fairy Tale Lover to me was probably one of the first joints. Yes, this was before I Need Love with LL. And for me, the dopest thing about UTFO, would you say? Yeah, Full Force produced this. Okay. The thing I love about this cover was Mixmaster Ice in the whole ninja suit with the whole, turntable, 1,200 coffins. I just thought that was crazy because, again, it's 1984. Everybody doesn't know what a ninja is at this point in time. So, like, ninjas were not Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This was a time when you ain't know what the fucking ninja was unless you really was into this shit. So, definitely Girl Pool with Roxanne. Like Vern said, one of the first songs I memorized. I remember asking my dad, was everything that Dr. Ice was talking about, with these true, with these, like, real, problems, with these real, like, sicknesses.
Etiology, ophthalmology,
right. Like, I'm asking my dad, like, are these real? He's like, yeah, they real. I'm like, oh shit, this nigga. In my mind, again, I'm like, oh shit, this nigga really a doctor. Like, no, this nigga just do some shit. But who you gonna say, Vern?
Something else about that song, the Krizan Kizzo. It took me like 20 years later to realize he was just, I forgot what you call that type of speak. Of course, maybe you can kind of like a pig Latin, Kizzo, like the y'all know what I'm talking about. I sound like an idiot right now. But
no, we got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely a dope joint. Amir, Beg, I'm gonna come back to you. I want to get a Coke story real quick to kind of, get us laughing again. Amir, what you got? You asked Amir for a song, this nigga gives you a Coke story. Like, all right, so what we got, Amir? Oh, now your voice messed up, man. Yeah, you sound like Max. You sound like Max Headroom. We in the 80s now again.
Sound like
Nucleus. Crime show. He hiding his face in his identity.
Right, that's exactly. Nah, you sound worse now, bro.
Wiki.
Yeah, you sound like me. Log back in. See, but then he pop up on the other end. See, Vern, this how it messes up. This is what fucks me up when he pops up on the other end. Now you still the same. Like, try to log out and log back in. Yeah. All right. Yo, man's a wild dude. Vague, what you got up next for us, man?
I'm kind of stumped now. I had Roxanne's Revenge, but also I guess you could put Bite This in that because it not only was female rapper going at a crew of dudes, she was making it her business to rebuttal everything they did. Dope. And what makes it extra dope is Roxanne Revenge was a lot of freestyle. Wasn't really written, especially when you watch her do it, like the video, because you can really tell when somebody freestyling, right? It's you could see them thinking at the same time. And I just thought it was dope because I wrote the song Roxanne back then, but I'm in Queensbridge, my family. They like, oh, listen to this, Roxanne's Revenge. And I'm like, shit, I like this better. Like, what is it? She going at them. And I hadn't seen her. You know what I'm saying? So at first, I thought it was the Roxanne in the video till I comprehend the lyrics. And I'm like, oh, nah, she from around the way. Like, this is different. So it was one of those Kumo D Busy B moments for me where, they're making this innocent fly song over here. And she's like, nah, I'm coming with the bars and the boom bap to shit on y'all parade. So I think it's another one of those pivotal moments in hip hop, not only for the ladies, but also for, just battle rap and diss records. We tend to only talk about, the no Vaselines and, the ethers and takeovers. Sometimes we forget, and the bridge is over. Sometimes we forget about Roxanne Shante. Because I'm gonna tell you something. When I first heard the bridge is over, I was thinking the only one that could respond is Roxanne Shante. Where we could be like, KRS-One. Like, yeah.
Now tell me this, Vague. Did you see? I think for me, I thought that there was like a difference between an answer record and a diss record. So I took Roxanne's Revenge as like an answer record, or the Showstoppers with Salt and Pepper as an answer record to the show, or Ice Cream Tea, guys just don't understand the Jazzy Jeff Girl. I never really looked at it as like a diss record, but you saw like Roxanne's Revenge like as a diss record.
I did because it is an answer record.
Mm-hmm.
But she talking about them dudes all crazy.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah.
That is true.
I met the
His title says revenge.
Right. That is true. That's very true. That's very true. Good point. And another thing for people, just to see how the spinoff works from JR's with Roxanne to Vern's Roxanne's Revenge to Vegas's Roxanne's Revenge. If you ever have the time, and you will need the time, go down the rabbit hole of how many answers there were.
Oh my
Roxanne, because then you had the real Roxanne, and then you had Sparky D battling the real Roxanne. And I think it's like something the Guinness Book of World Records is the most answered record. So if you just you're off from work and you don't have shit to do after you finish watching Department 5 and Vanilla Girl Steak Life, jump right into YouTube Roxanne, and just see how many people responded to that record, because I'm sure that may really hold the Guinness Book of World Records. Amir, you back in effect with us, bro? You still man, the cocaine guys, man, they done got you, man. Yeah, you know what I mean? Nah, B, you like Max Headroom, man. You really like Nucleus, man. You like Jam on it, man. You on your phone or your computer? Try your computer. That may be. See what happens? See what happens when you talk about Coke and Uncle Mike? This is what happens. Stop talking about the Coke. See how Burn didn't tell you what his uncles did. He just said click and Applejack and left it at that. He didn't say, yeah, Uncle Applejack used to sell Coke out in College Park. No, the man took it a step too far with his uncle story. I'm going to talk a little bit about Run-DMC's solo album, just as a whole for me. I mean, Rock Box, Hard Times, when Vade talked about Sucker MCs, House Crew, 30 Days, just amazing thing. And I mean, to just understand the story of Run-DMC, of them being one of the first black artists, hip hop artists to be on MTV, and to understand how important that is when you're looking at Michael Jackson, Prince, and Run-DMC. You know what I mean? To be mentioned with those other two names, again, deserves that ultimate high level of praise that some days I feel like Run and D don't get. For whatever reason, you see they right here behind me over here on this side right here. Like, you Run-DMC are the foundation for me. So definitely that album. Let's see if we got.
I also think that Run-DMC is going to be mentioned for a while throughout this series that we do, because they were so integral. But do we have Amir back? I don't.
Yeah,
Amir, you back?
Am I better?
You better. You're not all the way, but we'll take that. Give me a story. What's up?
Nah, so yo,
whatever this nigga. Nah, so yo, you know what I mean? As soon as it sets off with
so New York, I love it.
Talking about some contraband for sure.
Right, exactly.
This shit was crazy because it was this kid, man, and he was the first nigga I seen with a S curl and a shag.
Was it Rockwell?
Nah, he lived in the projects I lived in. His name was Rodney.
Close.
Rodney, he would always, he looked a little unkempt, a little musty nigga. But he was playing this fucking record called Egyptian Lover, breakdancing on a cardboard box, nigga.
Yes, indeed.
This was after breakdancing was over, so we thought this nigga was crazy.
Hey man, Amir is Charlie Murphy, man.
Yes.
Oh god.
Who don't shave their underarm hair, but listen to Houdini and sell coke in aluminum foil. Now we got my man who got an escrow and a shag.
And he
Great
must
days
be-
with the Egyptian lover.
Oh shit.
Yo, I'm like, how old is this song? But that shit was fire. I ain't gonna tell my friends I like this shit. But that he was up there doing all this wild shit, and I'm like, and he was like, I'm like, yo, niggas don't even break dance no more. But he had this cardboard box and that hot ass son with that Jerry curl. That shit looked crazy. And I just remember this nigga. So
What year was this?
this
No,
had to be like,
I was
this
about to ask,
this had to be like 90s, 89, 90s. It was crazy.
Now, see, but hold tight. Because what Amir's saying is real. Because around 89, 90, ain't that when Quick
It was
came
over.
out with the perm? So everybody be bugging.
Nah.
90.
90.
It had to be like 90. Quick came out
91.
with the perm.
Yeah, he was 91. 91.
Yeah,
I
so
was in
on
seventh
art
grade.
and having a Jerry curl or perm in 1990 was bugging. Like, you was bugging.
Yeah, for me, it was a bugged out situation. And he had no lineup. You know, niggas are trying to wear that natural shit, trying to comb it back, slick that shit back. He talking to me, but he would always rub his shit with his fingers. I'm like, nigga. What the fuck is Caesar? You out here looking keep that shit taped up, man. You out here. And this nigga slicking his hair back on the side like he Puerto Rican. I'm like, damn, this is crazy. But yo, but
So the song
Yeah, I
is
don't-
Egyptian Lover.
it's called. I looked it up. It's shit called. And this shit was a critical, pivotal moment. It was a soundtrack to that bullshit Rodney was doing. So I'm gonna shout out my man on the now. Whatever his name is, man.
Yeah. Kill, you don't know the Egyptian lover?
No, I remember.
Oh, okay.
I remember. I just was making sure that was the song. I'm writing the songs
Okay.
down.
Oh,
I gotta make sure I get the songs. So, you know, Mayor's come with a story. It ain't just the song. It comes with the whole background around the song.
Well, that must have been.
A
That
little-
must have been
a-
Egypt.
Yeah, a musty dude with an S curl and a shag with
Oh,
no shape.
shit.
But
Great
I
dance
bet you
in 1990.
I bet you everybody in here know a nigga like that too.
Yeah.
I didn't know a nigga
100%.
with an S curl and a shag. It usually was one or the other. That nigga doubled down on it right there. With the
Hey man,
S-curl and
it's
the
a dude
shag.
in my gym right now that got a raggedy box. There's a fade, then there's a fat raggedy shag. And
I'm not.
he look unhinged, man. But
I bet he's strong as shit, too.
Like,
I'm done with the
All I know is I would
Yeah,
not work
Volkswagen.
out next to that nigga. Because when that nigga slid and that nigga decides to start shooting up everybody, nigga, I'm on the other side of the gym.
Yep.
Yo, do
and
they
I
even
like
still
Alton
make the
Coleman.
S-curl?
If y'all, I'm not Alton Coleman, but Wayne Williams. So yeah, I kind of stand clear. Usually he coming in when I'm leaving, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, I'm on the other side of the gym, my nigga. If you still got a shag in 2023, nigga, we are not in the same row with treadmills. 'Cause when you decide to lose it, it's not. It ain't going down with me. JR, you got another joint?
I think everybody might have said mine. Did everybody say the message?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All mine is done. All mine is
All right,
done.
what about you, bro?
I'm gonna go with the Nate. Just shout out to Nate. I'm gonna go Dana Dane with Nightmares, man.
Okay.
Oh shit.
Okay.
Because we weren't. I mean, it was right off the tails of Lottie Dottie in the show. So you know that Slick Rick thing. It's like, oh, it's another dude from London. You know.
There you go.
Yeah, right. Yeah, okay.
Another dude from London.
Word. Yeah.
Y'all not gonna disrespect
That
my
is
OG,
hilarious.
No, bro.
They
Dane is
my
the
OG, man.
dude. Dane is the dude.
Nah,
but
it ain't no disrespect to Dane. What it was is we were painting her room, and she was like, "Daddy, he's from London." And I was like, "Nah, he's from
y'all
London."
gonna make me get Dana Dane in this shit.
Yo,
Y'all
bring
gonna
that,
make
yo,
nigga
bro. You know me, man. Here's the funny part of Twitter snitch. I was saying something about PMD album being whack, and a nigga tagged PMD. I'm like, nigga, PMD follow me already, motherfucker. I'ma still talk the same shit if you follow me and tag me or not. Like, so it's no disrespect to Dana, but Nate was like, oh, so Daddy, is he from London too? And I'm like, oh, nah, he's from Fort Greene. And she was like, then why you talking like he from London? And I was like, oh, well, because he's down with. I swear, Naomi, when you really fuck with your kids and that y'all can talk music together, like out the mouth of babe. She was like, well, isn't that fronting if he's not from London? Why is he trying to act like he's from London? I was like, oh, because he's in the Kango crew with them. And she was like, but isn't that whack? And I was like, fuck, I guess you like shit. Like,
know what's crazy?
It is whack.
Know what's crazy? I got a Dana Dane story.
I know you do.
Yo, this shit was bugged out how Dana did me. I never knew this. I didn't even know who the nigga was, man. I was at Eddie F crib. This had to be like 10, 12 years ago. And it was Dana Dane, D-Nice, Chad Elliott, Eddie F. And I used to carry their records to these corporate industry parties because I was broke and I ain't had no fucking money. I was just carrying niggas crazy to the party. It had to be 12 years ago. And then that's when D-Nice first learned how to DJ, because Eddie taught him how to DJ on Serato. I was right there when he showed that nigga that shit. So, and he had like a little, I remember he had that little gray 3 Series Benz or whatever. And I remember Dana Dane was at the crib and there was some lady from, she was a makeup artist, kind of heavy set. And I was leaving and he said, yeah, this is my little brother. I said, nigga, I ain't your brother, nigga. I ain't even know who the nigga was, right? And I'm listening to the nigga talk. I said, Eddie, who your man? And mind, this is Dickie Timberland, and man. I had Dickie's, you know, the slim fit Dickies fitted in the tip. I was a different mindset. So I ain't even know who this nigga was. But I'm looking at him, who the fuck is? And then I was at Eddie's house, and I went back over there to Eddie's crib, and he gave me, like, this note from Dana Dane. Dana Dane had wrote the lady's number on a piece of paper. He was looking for you. The lady was looking for you to take some pictures. So he was the first person to like throw me a pass for an opportunity outside of music. And when he called me Rudy, I guess that was one of his friends that got killed or something. And he said I looked like one of his best friends. So he just took a liking to me. And I was about to play this nigga, and then he actually was fucking with me, and I almost fucked that up. That's my Dana Dane story.
All right, I thought there was some coke involved, but there's still, yeah. I was waiting for the big bang.
It was just an overweight makeup artist. That's all.
Overweight makeup. Okay, okay, cool. So yeah, love Dana, but yeah, Vern 100% with Dana. I love Nightmares, Cinderfella, Dana Dane, and again, what I want people to understand about, especially this time of hip hop, the innocence. Like that, this nigga could make a rap song about Cinderella, but make it with Cinderfella living in the Fort Greene projects. Like, and that shit was dope. Like, yeah, you know what I mean? So again, it's just a certain innocence that's here. Nobody's rapping about no ops. Ain't nobody got shot. Ain't nobody got raped. Ain't nobody had no trains ran on them yet. Like, it's just a very innocent time of just hip hop. You know what I mean?
He said, yeah. He said,
yeah. I gotta say something. So, I heard you mention no trains ran on them. Bink, the producer hit me like a couple, like maybe last week, and he FaceTimed me. And he hit me, but he said something about, he called it whore rap. He said, Amir, that ain't gangster rap, that's whore rap. I said, what? And then he goes on his page and he types, drill, trap, and whore rap have destroyed hip hop. And I'm looking at him like, oh, that's kind of wild. How do you just label that like whore rap with drill and trap? But to your point, with the trains, I was going to run it under that umbrella. I'll just throw that out there.
Okay.
Charlie Murphy.
Charlie Murphy, everybody. Charlie Murphy. Charlie Murphy, everybody. Babe, you have any Dana Dane stories? Oh, I know you have a lot of true hip hop stories, babe. So, nah, I'm joking. Do you have any more songs left, babe?
Oh shit. I actually do, but
what you got? What you got?
Nah, man, no story. I actually met him once because one of my friends I think he's a little special.
Oh shit!
Right, you know, I'm sorry, babe.
I'm just being honest. He's still my friend.
I appreciate it.
Right. But nah, you know, it was he died. Dana Dane lived on the block. It's a cool joint.
Right.
But I'm not sure if this is the year. I think it is 1985. MC Shan the Bridge. When I tell you I was envious
You know what? The 12-inch probably was 85. I was thinking album, but the 12-inch was 85.
Yeah. I was just envious because you visiting the bridge every weekend with my family, and they got an anthem, and that shit is just on the radio, people play it everywhere. Talking about hip hop. I didn't know whether they were the birthplace of hip hop or not at that point. I knew about the Bronx, but I was like, well, let the old niggas argue over that. I don't know.
Right.
But that beat is timeless.
Yeah.
MC Shan's bars, it's timeless.
Right.
You love to hear the story again and again. Like all of that stuff just resonates when you hear it. It's classic hip hop. I think it's one of those things where if you consider yourself, and I don't know where they're handing out these degrees, but a hip hop historian, like some of these Twitter niggas, like
these niggas be 28 talking about their hip hop historian at 28. So.
Like historians, what? Like, okay, like if you don't, and I'm not even joking. If you don't look like the dudes that Amir described, you say you a hip hop. Calling themselves hip hop historians before I believe some young nigga younger than me trying to say shit. This was like the Park Jam anthem. You know what I'm saying? Like, for those watching, you hear about the Park Jam. I was little, but I was out there. You know what I'm saying? Especially in Queensbridge Park. Man, I mean, this song and all kinds of records, people breakdancing, battling, crews showing up in their routine outfits and all that. It just was a dope time, man, and it was an excitement about it, without the airplay. And MC Shan and the Bridge is one of those timeless records that, if you don't do the knowledge, I can't really consider you a hip hop head for a lot of these records that are being named. So
right. I think the other thing about the Bridge in the 80s, especially this time with battling, is you could be a dope MC and lose the battle. Like I feel like the new history is that Shan was whack because he lost to KRS, and that's not true. You know what I mean? Like Vegas saying, the Bridge was the shit. You know what I mean? So you could have a huge song out, and if you take that L, it's almost like you annihilate it. But I always say his second album, Shan's second album, this is 88, Marley Marl on the boards, is dope. But it was almost like nobody wanted to hear it after the Bridge is over. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with Antoinette. I Got Attitude was crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
dope song.
very dope.
But after 10% this, it was like nobody wanted to hear nothing she had to say no more. So it wasn't like you was just whack. But I feel like that's what's been thrown on to Shannon, that he was just always this whack nigga who lost to KRS, and it's like, nah, you know what I mean? Not at all. But that's definitely a dope pull. Zoe, you got anything left, bro?
Yeah, I got a couple. Right.
List them all, bro.
We're gonna do the. I'll run with the albums. I'll do two albums, and then I got one that's a single. The first album is the soundtrack to my favorite hip hop movie, which is Wild Style from '83. And the reason why it's my favorite movie is because
shit, you see this shit right here. I could pull this.
Yeah, man. Like
that stay right
there. I really love early hip hop history. Like whether it's oral history, whether it's the stories behind the songs, and just hearing about how things came together. And it seemed like Wild Style to me was just kind of a looking glass into 1983, maybe 82, but 1983, as to what was going on, like what was happening. Down by Law was the joint that everybody rapped on. Except for I think Kaz rapped over a break beat, and but everybody pretty much chose Down by Law. Shit, I might have to run that shit tonight. Matter of fact,
I'm thinking I'm put it on when we finish.
That is stay right by the machine, because I'm always pulling something off a vocal snippet or something to use in the beat, so it stay right here.
Another album I have on here is it's just called The Album by Mantronics. Mantronics had with Fresh Is the Word, bassline. I remember hearing bassline for the first time like on a mix show in like '87, and I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck is this? Like, it was another one of them moments where it's just like, it was very simple. The baseline was the main focal point, and my man came in there and he was floating on that hole.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I ran that shit so much, man. Between that and like Marley Marl's remix of My Melody, like that was those two right there was my shit. And then my last one is a single, and it's I talked earlier about in 1982 there was two pivotal moments in hip hop. One was The Message, and the other one was Planet Rock.
How could I?
Planet Rock opened the door for all the electro shit, man. Especially in where I'm from in Detroit. You know, we had the Cybertron shit. So like Clear. You know, we had that joint, and all that electro shit got played heavily in Detroit. Like, you know, we're the home of techno music. So, you know, all of that stuff had a home, and you know, I heard Planet Rock so much. I heard Looking for a Perfect Beat so much.
Perfect beat.
You know, all of that stuff, like, just reminds me of growing up in Detroit. Like, it just takes me back to the crib.
Right. That's dope. Breck, you got anything left, bro?
I mean, Zoe got my joints, man. I know Zoe wrist be out there doing pop locking. You got to get the wrist surgery as much as you was pop locking growing up, bro. I know for a fact. No, I had the same joints, man. I had Planet Rock. I had Mantronics. I'm good, man. Those were good pulls, though.
All right, no doubt. To tap me out, I'm gonna kind of go back on what Vern said with the 12-inch and 5 Minutes of Funk, just with the whole Houdini Escape album. One of my favorite albums. I mean, just you know, again, I've said this before. It may have been for a day, a week, a month. There was a time when Houdini was right there with Run-DMC. It may have even been bigger than Run-DMC. With some of their songs, like with Friends, and you know, we'll get in the Back in Black over that's post '85 with One Love, but Houdini had big songs, like damn near anthem songs. So with the Escape album, you talking 5 Minutes of Funk, The Freaks Come Out at Night, Big Mouth, Friends, even the title track Escape. I mean, a Big Mouth, I mean, I always say is you can say what you want, spell my name right. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's one of my hip hop quotables that I still use to this day. Like, I got this one joint, I'll be like, yo, niggas talking shit. Niggas heard a rumor about me, go hear that shit again. I don't give a fuck what y'all talking about. Like, go hear that shit again, nigga. I don't care. But so I always love that you can say what you want, but spell my name right. In fact, Meg, I used that on one of our joints on the Gray Area. I forgot what joint it was, what song it was, but I used that sample on there.
Right.
But yeah, so Houdini, and then I'm gonna double back with Run-DMC's sophomore album, King of Rock. You know what I mean?
Yes, indeed.
Which was crazy. The video, you know, them being in like the museum and everything like that. You talk too much, which I always thought. I didn't know if Houdini and Run-DMC were beefing or if they kind of were like just riding the same wave, because you like Big Mouth, you talk too much. I'm like, like, okay, like that's kind of similar, whatever. But I mean, you got You're Blind and You Can't See, You Wear Too Less, like DMC. Can You Rock It Like This, which is again in Crush Groove. For everybody watching for the day, if you've never seen Crush Groove, you should definitely tap in, because so many of the groups that we named, Run-DMC, Kurtis Blow, the Fat Boys, you know, LL Cool J, like they're all in Crush Groove. And one of my favorite song off the King of Rock album is Daryl and Joe. Like, I love that joint. So I think that taps me out. JR, anything else? Anybody else got anything else? Amir, I know you got more stories, but you got any more? You got two, Vern? What you got?
Yep. I'm gonna go back to a song that still gets played on NBA arenas. Apache.
Oh, yeah, I did have a list.
Yeah. And then this song right here, man, it held a special meaning when I first heard it, and then when I got to high school. So a Fly Girl, the Boogie Boys, man, that beat, man, is so ill. And Zoe, didn't Sly Fox use that for Let's Go All the Way? Let's go all the way.
Oh yeah. All right. So yeah, the Boogie Boys. I always go to the Jay-Z set.
And so this is out of our timeline, but I always have to shout out the Boogie Boys, because We moved from Gary in '86. I'm in 9th grade in '86 in College Park, and the first assembly we have, the Boogie Boys are at the assembly, and so they do the Fly Girl. They do did they do You Ain't Fresh? I forget, but the Fly Girl, everybody was in there prepping all up, man. So those my two, Apache and the Fly Girl.
All right, no doubt, no doubt. Amir, anything left, good brother?
I'm gonna give it up to what is it, Grandmaster Cass.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I forgot the name of the record, but and the reason why I'm saying, because a lot of people, I think father their style after a lot of the records he did as far as lyricism. A lot of people like to give him credit. Yeah.
Yeah, Kaz is one of the OG bar
Yeah. So, and the reason why I say that, I'm not like super familiar with his catalog, but we rode a train with him to DC like last year. Remember I came out there last year, he was on a train with us for that award show. And I felt like an asshole because I didn't really know the history of it. So I made sure, like going forward, that I try to, close that knowledge gap between me and some of the forefathers of this shit. So it's always important for me to, on a serious note, to kind of make sure I include shit like that. So I would give it to him. His album dropped. I think that he was part of the Furious Five, right? Like, if I'm not mistaken, correct me, somebody, if I'm incorrect.
Nah, Kaz was in the Furious Five. Kaz was
the Grandmaster Cass. He was part of a collective, though.
I want to say the Crash Crew, but I could be wrong.
Right. He was part of a collective because I remember him telling me who he was part of. I don't know if somebody could Google it, but he did have an album.
Cold Crush. Cold Crush.
That was it. Overcharging niggas because remember he talking about that Jay-Z that was on the ride back. Overcharging niggas for what they did to the Cold Crush.
Right.
So he was talking about So yeah, I would put him in that arena because I think what he did around that time frame was pivotal.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I had to go back and do my history on Kaz because the niggas, again, I'm 49, so the people who are like 53, 54, they're the ones who schooled me on Kaz and everything like that. And, again, I can't sit here and say I'm really, I know a lot of this shit, but I know he's respected by the OGs, so that respect to me just naturally flows on because niggas are saying he definitely was there. Something, and again, to just talk about some of the 80s, and we're talking about the number of albums that came out. So in 83, hip-hop albums dropped. In 81, 3 hip-hop albums dropped. In 82, 3 hip-hop albums dropped. In 83, 12 dropped. 84, 13 albums dropped. 85, 17 albums dropped. So you'll see by the time we move on, we're going to see how these numbers start to increase. You're seeing why we're naming 12 in singles right now. And you'll see during the 86 to 90 episode, 86 to 89 episode, is really about how albums, a lot of the albums, I was telling my man this because I posted EPMD's album this week that I was listening to, and I was explaining to people that we heard a lot of albums that dropped in 88, we heard the bulk of the album because they may have had 412s and singles out before the album even dropped. So by the time Strictly Business dropped, I heard Strictly Business, You Gotta Chill, You're a Customer, and It's My Thing. You know what I mean? You may have already heard I'm Housing too. So you only really listening to less the Funk, Flow, and Jane and something else on there. You know what I mean? So same thing with the Jungle Brothers. You heard Jim Browski, I Got It Like That, Girl Our House You Like. So much of hip hop at this time was just 12 and singles. And then also talking about the number of songs that were on the album. Kurtis Blow song, album in 80 only had 7 songs on it. You know what I mean? His album Deuce in 81 only had 7 songs. His album Tough in 82 only had 5 songs on it. And that was
you got to think about the mediums we had, and that was we didn't have CDs, so it was like it's got to fit on a record. It's got to fit. It's got to fit on It's got to fit on an 8-track.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like we don't have 60, 80, 120 minutes on these mediums. So to me, that's why you got like 3 songs per side.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's a great point because it was the same thing when we had tapes. We would get maybe 12 songs. When you got that CD with 80 minutes, niggas lost their fucking mind. We were using all 80 minutes of this CD. We were using, if there was 80 minutes, we up to 7. You pop your CD in and look, it'd be like 79.59. Like, we was using every second that the CD had to offer. So again, just the wisdom was saying. But just to say, like somebody give you, I remember when Illmatic dropped it, niggas was pissed at 9 song. We was like, yo, what is this? We shortchanged, and we already heard, what was the Zebra Head joint? Halftime. We already heard
Halftime. Yeah.
Innocence, you ain't rapping over. It ain't hard to tell it's a single. Like niggas was mad about that. But just to say all that. So prayerfully, everybody watching, this is the beginning. My challenge is to everybody out there, come up with what would be your 12 songs from 80 to 85 that will be part of the Hip Hop Bible. If you're not old enough, do the knowledge. I had to do the knowledge. I'm not old enough to talk about a lot of Cold Crush stuff and stuff like that. So ain't nothing wrong with doing the knowledge and then talking to people who were that age back then. Amir got a new album about to drop, coming soon. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Again, one of my favorite albums. Amir, what year did this drop?
2021, 22?
21.
2020, yeah, right. 2021, yeah.
21 grams. If you don't know, my co-host and little sis Portia is the biggest Pete Rock fan in the world. She hits me. Kill Pete Rock just dropped this project with this guy named Amir. I don't know who he is. But fuck, Pete Rock's name, whole godly. Hear the album, love the album. I reach out to Amir to get him to be on the show. We've been chopping it up ever since. He's got his new album about to drop. Amir, talk a little bit about your album. Number one, first signing on Pete Rock's label, True Soul Records. Pete produced the whole 21 grams. But Amir, what are you cooking up right now for us, bro?
Yo, man, let's not skip the fact that on time for I've cut a lot of records with you too.
But that's coming. Let's
mention that. And I definitely cooked up with you, and I appreciate the time you always take, man, to shoot me over those customized joints.
You already know, good brother.
Right. So I know the record, the project I got down, man, it's called 7 Day Beloved Theory. I definitely send you the private link to, and you send it to your co-host to make sure. I think sonically, man, this project is pivotal because after the wait for Dope Boy Soda album and a lot of other stuff that was happening, like logistically at True Soul, and one thing I can't say is different from 2 years ago. I've done a lot more shows, and I realized that even though I did drop a project 2 years ago, I have a shitload of ground to cover. Right? We drop projects and we think, oh, everybody just know us, but it's not, man. It's a lot of legwork I think that we overlook sometimes, and not my ego, but I see artists that their ego get in the way of their progression. So for me, every show, every time I get an opportunity to chat or spread the word about the project, even though it's older to us, it's new to a lot of people. Because a lot of people still never heard 21 grams because how it was shortened, because of the reach on the samples and etc. So with the difference with 7 Day Beloved Theory is the 7 cuts of, I'm gonna call it Amirisms, with tailored by the experiences that I had the last 2 years working with different producers, and it's a kind of a summation. The lessons I learned from Pete, Arsonist, yourself, other producers, man, my man Trey and Tone Beast is on there. A lot of cool Weeks. I know Weeks is one of your favorites, and a lot of artists I just worked with over the last 2 years. And I don't even use the word excited a lot, but these 7 records that are gonna segue into the album officially into Dope Boy Soul was my stamp of let me take my one last dance in the layup line before, with me and my people. Under Pete's tutelage, or I started to sit on the records and let him do his, his Pete shit to it. But for the most part, he let me just, I turn the records over. We having fun, man. So I think 7 Day Beloved Theory, 7 different records, 7 different textures, 7 different approaches. That's what I've been doing, man. So I think, the listener should have some fun and get a better beat on the shit I like. Yeah.
All right, and when's it dropping, bro?
That shit's dropping August the 7th. That's gonna be on all of, the DSPs and etc. We've been discussing possibly putting some limited vinyls behind it, but that's still up in the air. Which for the people that really for the vinyl heads, we may just do some vinyl ship to order. So that's still in progress. But for right now, just 7 Day Beloved. I got some cool visuals and like a short film coming with it. that I'm working on. Shot by my man SJ. He's that nice with it. Yeah, and then I did it again, and I did the it got mastered by Mark Christensen from the Engine Room. He did a lot of people's projects, and I did the mixing at the Engine Room over there in Manhattan. So it's been a very long process as we all patiently await for this dope boy soul, aka Detox.
Cats been waiting on this Pete Rock produced for a minute.
Yeah,
so.
I mean it's fire though. I ain't gonna claim he making changes, but meanwhile I just had to make sure I gave the listeners something, to not forget me about, because people will forget about you if you don't put out material. We live in things are moving rapidly out here, yeah. So
all right, no doubt. Everybody tap in for that. JR, R&B guru, youngest in charge. What y'all got going over there with the R&B reps?
We just did an episode with RJ, latest arrival, and then Slum Village jumped in our episode. So that was dope. That was dope. Like we just was like, wait, what? So that comes out Wednesday. That'll be out Wednesday. Catch that. We doing our catch that. We got some more surprises coming too, so it's dope. So check us out, the R&B Reps on Instagram, Twitter. JR's Roller Soul on Instagram and Twitter as well.
All right, Vern, the loan closer. What's going on, man?
Man, just chilling. I'm actually looking forward. That's our all-class reunion this weekend, man. So looking forward to seeing some people. That's why I've been hitting the gym extra hard. Cause I ain't
we're not looking forward to seeing the girls from 19.
But what you don't understand?
Anthony and Stacy.
Right.
What you don't understand,
the reunion this weekend, y'all.
Nah, my class, the dudes in my class, I don't care if you doctor, physician, whatever, they're gonna heat you up from what from back in the day. So you better come right. They will zone you out. So yeah, I'm just looking forward to, hanging with people that I've known since I was, 13 years old. Because as we get older, we laid to rest 2 classmates in the last 3 months. So one of my boys was like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna go. Like, nigga, you need to come, because the last 2 times we got together was at a funeral. Let's have some joy. He's like, man, you're right. So yeah, I'm just looking forward to that. Just chilling.
All right, that's what's up. But where do they get to you if they need to get that loan for the crib, man?
Yeah. I'm sorry. On Instagram at Be the Loan Closer. I'll get you right.
All right, there you go. Vegas World Inc. What's going on, brother? You and Rec on here at the same time for the first time in years. So talk about this EP y'all got out.
Yeah, so we got an EP out on Bandcamp, Vegas World, inc.bandcamp.com. It's the EP, quick joint. Rec on the beats is called GMT, Grown Man Time. Probably me just being an old man on yelling at the clouds. But every now and again I like to flex that muscle, because it's always in me, regardless of what I do for a living. I'm not an MC professionally, but I still have a passion for hip hop. So time to time, dudes lace me with some dope beats. I get the feeling, and I put something together. So check that out. It's free of charge. If you want to pay for it, cool. I buy some cigars so I can smoke in the backyard or some shit.
All right. And DJ Rec, you on the beats. What's up with you, man?
Veg doing what he do. So we just kind of came together and made something happen. Looking forward to doing that again. That was fun. So, trying to get back to it. But yeah, man, I need to get with y'all as far as the music, man. I got the show I'm working on for artists that need more reach. So, Amir, I definitely got to tap in with you. Artists like yourself. But Mondays, you can catch me on Twitch, 9:15 Eastern Standard Time.
Yo, Rec, let me tell you something about your Twitch channel, man. My phone off. Everybody's Neltron, everybody. I'm getting DMs. Rec is live. Like, it's the bat signal for you, man. You've got an amazing fan base out here. Yes. My phone starts blowing up. if I get like 5 or 6 tweets, I'm like, oh, okay, it's rec is on. Like niggas are like, yo, tap in, rec is on right now.
Yeah.
So,
I don't tap in with y'all because we talk all week, and I know y'all are busy. So it's like if they got a minute, I know they'll tap in. But we talk all week, so it's like let me let them, do what they have to do. I might tag y'all once or twice, but they go bananas. Where's Pusha? Pusha's not here.
Yeah, it's a testament to the fan base that you got. So it's just a salute for that because
I appreciate it, man. I'm doing it just for them. To be honest with you, it's not for me because I could sit in here and just turn these turntables on and play until 5 o'clock in the morning and be fine at work. But it's for them.
Hey, Kill. You know what else is dope? Is that my dude from 7th, 8th grade, man.
Oh, word?
We're doing something Saturday.
The DJ thing. Oh, word.
Okay.
Tell Tone
we're doing something
Saturday,
man.
Yeah,
I will.
That's what's up.
Yeah,
that's what's up. Veg, I forgot. Tell them about the new podcast and when is it premiere?
So I have an interview-based podcast, not hip hop, but it's about highlighting creatives, particularly creatives of color, from all different walks of life, as far as the filmmakers to actors to this young cat who has a business supporting creators of color. When I tell you he was interviewing me, I was like, hey man, like, shut the fuck up. I'm asking the question. But it was pretty dope to do and to do the interview. But this podcast is purely focused on them as well, but also a way for me to display, my history in radio as far as my experience with production and hosting and interviewing, and some of the the things I've done with podcasting to promote. So I'm looking to put a big push behind it. I'll have another teaser dropping soon. You can subscribe now. It's called My Little Podcast. And probably I'm thinking the week of Labor Day is when I'll start to release episodes. There's 6 episodes with some really dope people. So, definitely check it out. And again, like I said on the last podcast, if you watched Kill's show, Penny Patone, who's been on the show, was an actor, is one of my guests. And you get to really know a lot about him, his life, his family, his acting career, his aspirations. And I even got him to beatbox because he started
big hip hop head.
I used to beatbox, so I'm like, oh, well, where I'm from, let me hear something, man.
Right.
So it came out dope because he went right into it. I had to rev him up, told a little story, went into it. So it'll be dope for people to check out.
Yeah, no doubt. That's what's up. Zo, what you got cooking up over there, good brother?
Man, we just creating, man. Me and Tall Black Guy, my production partner, some of y'all may know. We working on like 3 different projects right now, and we just got handed another one yesterday. So I'm in here. I've been getting a lot of instrumentation practice in. So I've been doing a lot of shedding. We working. Booked a couple festivals yesterday. I'm feeling pretty good right now. Get to go back home and see moms for about 5 days in a couple weeks, and then I'm going on vacation.
All right, that's what's up.
Y'all doing Aretha again, Zoe?
No, we're going back home to do soundboard theater in January. We just went back home last month to do L Club, and that was kind of crazy.
All right. The dopest thing about what you said is you working. That's it. Best thing as a creator. That's all you can ask for is to be working. So
man, look, work, get time in with my daughter and my lady, and I'm good.
There you go. P, little sister. She loves love. She loves Pete Rock. She hates Drake. Doesn't get much simpler than that. What's up with you, P?
On Twitter, Threads, Spill, as Shayla Porsche everywhere. And we got to get Amir on Spaces, so I think that's coming up.
That's Monday. That's coming up.
On Monday.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
So yes,
we'll be talking about 7-day theory and everything like that. So
11 theory. And really, I do have to appreciate DJ Rec One. His sets on Twitch are phenomenal. I wasn't able to make week, but I'm there almost every other week, and it is just brilliant. I love it. He plays all of the dope stuff. It's always fire emojis in that chat. Like, I think that's all we ever post, because DJ Rec One is just, man, so good. So if you're on Twitch or don't have Twitch, get Twitch. Find DJ Rec One. His sets are amazing. So
he it's just like I thought.
It's always one, boy.
You already know what it is with me. Kill889, Twitter, IG. Come on my timeline for all the fun, for all the jokes, for everything else. But again, a message I put out earlier this week. Again, my challenge for men specifically is go to the doctor, go get checked out. If you don't like your doctor, get a doper doctor, because again, and is it hard work? Yes, but I tell people all the time, choose your hard. Is it hard being in the hospital with tubes and all kinds of shit in you because you didn't take care of something that you knew was wrong? Is it hard to find a good doctor and go through your insurance and all that? Choose your hard. But at the end of the day, I know too many people who fight for health insurance and then don't even use it. You know what I mean? Don't even want to go to the doctor. You know, when your check engine light. See, I know niggas who ride around with all they lights. Shit look like a Christmas tree in their car. Like, I don't like that in my car. Like, my check engine light comes on, I'm right at this time. You know what I mean? So again, I challenge you. I'm 49. I talk to these young boys. When your knee hurts, go see what the fuck is wrong with your knee. Like, that's your body's check engine light. That's your body telling you something's wrong. Go get it checked out before you just keep, you know, I don't want to take off work. I don't want to do this. Well, nigga, guess what? You're going to take off work eventually when your knee stop fucking working and you got to do surgery. So, again,
that shit going to get worse.
Yeah. So, I just challenge people and challenge your doctors. Challenge your doctors. If you don't have a good doctor, find another doctor. If you don't like that one, find another doctor. Because, again, at the end of the day, it's going to be your life. Prayerfully, I got a daughter about to go to college. I want to see her get married. I want to see my grandkids. So we got to take care of ourselves. I tell people we can't debate on my timeline all fucking day if we're not in good health. So please go out there. Just this past week was beautiful, sad but beautiful to see so many people with so many health ailments going on that you would never know about. And again, people always say, Kill, you got a great hip hop community on Twitter. And I'm like, that's dope, but that don't mean shit to me. I want a community that when somebody has something go wrong with them, they can say, yo, I know such and such got this. You know, when I got scoliosis, I knew Grab had scoliosis. We was able to connect like that. And that's what happens. A lot of times we get diagnosed with something and we feel like we're by ourselves. I don't ever want that to be a place. So, you know, definitely just go to the doctor. And the great part is just from this week, I've gotten so many DMs about, Kill, how do you do this? My insurance won't cover. And I'm walking through a lot of people, a lot of this shit I had to dealing with having fibromyalgia and scoliosis and all the other shit. So again, I just challenge people through all this great hip hop debates and talks and discussions. Take care of your health first and foremost. So prayerfully, you know, somebody will take me up on that challenge. And a lot of people have. A lot of people say, Kill, I'm going to the doctor this week. I made an appointment. I'll get my blood work done. I'll get my physical done. As men, women, Porsche, again, I'm always talking to y'all, but y'all are on point with y'all shit. Like, our joint damn near got to be falling off for us to go to the doctor. So again, women, y'all kind of get it. Y'all understand it. Men, we are hard-headed, some of us, and we don't want to go. So I just challenge people. You hadn't had physical in a while, go get checked out. Make sure you're good. Again, I appreciate y'all, man. I will check y'all next week.
Thank you.
All right.